Rockstar never lets a good opportunity go to waste, and with the release of the surprise second GTA 6 trailer yesterday, shortly after announcing the game will be delayed to May 26th of 2026, they knew that millions of people would go absolutely crazy analyzing every little detail to get some idea of what the actual game will contain, because 1 year is a long time to go without any news, and it seems like, at least for now, this new trailer and the massive media dump is the only thing we have as far as GTA 6 information is concerned, and journalists and fan accounts are already going crazy, coming up with all sorts of awesome theories on how the dynamic between Jason and Lucia is going to play out, and there's a bunch of speculation out there on what new gameplay mechanics Rockstar will introduce. So today I've decided to dig through all of the info, and inside of this video I've compressed it down to the most reliable bits that I think we will see in the final release of the game. Again, these are just my anecdotes and observations, but I'm going to break down the trailer and the characters that we see in it to give you guys a top level overview of what all of this actually means. So, dual protagonists, Jason Duval and Lucia Caminos. We've already had rumors of a Bonnie and Clyde angle to the story based on the leaks in the first trailer, but I think you guys will agree with me that the first trailer was way more Lucia focused, making Jason almost feel more like a side character at best. However, things have been reversed this time around with the second trailer, starting us off with Jason's life in the state of Leonida as he's fixing a roof. And the middle-aged guy that you see next to the Vapid Cara 4x4, well, that's Brian Hader, which is an old school drug runner whose name is well known in this part of the Florida Keys, and I think he's kind of like Jason's landlord or boss almost, handing out random jobs and letting Jason live rent-free in one of his old properties. And the blue car that we see parked in front of the house, well, that one at a first glance looks sort of like an El Camino, but actually it is a Ford Ranchero since it's a Vapid vehicle. That might be Jason's work car or personal vehicle. By the way, in addition to this trailer, Rockstar also dropped a new character sheet on their official website with bios and descriptions for some of the new characters that we're going to see in the game, and it tells us that Jason is ex-military, a man in search of an easy life, but somehow he just can't seem to escape his past as he always grew up surrounded by grifters and crooks. And in this trailer, you can see a pair of tattoos on Jason, one on his right abdomen and another on his left shoulder. I don't know exactly what they represent, but he has a skull tattoo on his shoulder that looks like it could be inspired by something similar to the MACV-SOG tattoo used by special forces in the Vietnam War. And obviously, Jason isn't in his 60s, but maybe he was deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan, and now he's back in the States, and his lack of conventional job skills and his history with drug dealers means that he has very few options ahead of him. And somehow, Lucia gets involved in this whole mess when she teams up with Jason for an easy score, and the whole thing goes sideways, pulling our duo into a dark web of criminal conspiracies that extend across the entire state of Leonida. And from this point onwards, both of them have to watch out for each other because that's all they have. They can't trust anyone but themselves, and we see that Lucia and Jason develop a romantic relationship while being partners in crime. GTA 5 had a major focus on heists, but it looks like GTA 6 is going in a slightly different direction, albeit a little bit similar. It'll still probably have the big scores where you rob banks, secret underground facilities, and all that stuff based on some of the chase scenes that we've seen in this new trailer, but the focus is going to be more grounded on robberies, holding up diners, motels, theaters, mostly small-time stuff, but it's going to feel incredibly immersive because most of the buildings in the new GTA can be entered, and the leaks that we got back in 2022 suggested that GTA 6 will have tons of enterable buildings, and Take-Two even filed a patent for a game system a couple years ago that would allow for a procedurally generated interior set, and that sounds like it would fit right in with the new robbery theme, because imagine robbing the same type of diner 5 times in a row. It would obviously get boring fast, but if you switched up the interior layout, installed new cameras, maybe added some security guards that weren't present the last time, it suddenly becomes a challenge and feels new. We also know from the leaks that the police dispatch system is getting an overhaul, so no cops no longer just spawn into existence from thin air. The civilians and shop owners will call them, and there's a countdown timer during which your details like the clothes you're wearing, the guns you're wielding, and the car you're driving will all be provided to the cops by onlookers. So yeah, don't think that GTA 6 will be any less exciting just because the focus has shifted from massive scale heists to more smaller grounded robberies. If anything, it'll be even more action-packed as you can do way more robberies than heists, and each one will present a unique challenge. Plus, there's a scene in the trailer that looks like it came straight out of Fast and Furious 5, where a truck is dragging a massive safe behind it as it drifts around a corner. That confirms that our robberies won't just be restricted to small-scale businesses. We'll also be stealing from banks, possibly criminal overlords, and who knows what else. Now, the details on some of these characters and the lighting seem to have been majorly upgraded from 2023, and overall the visuals look a lot better in my opinion. The skin on people isn't as plasticky or as waxy in some of the shots, and they now have realistic textures, and the skin looks exactly how it would if you were exposed to the sun in a place like Florida for a long time. Even the way the sweat rolls off Jason's body and how the light scatters around it is pretty much photorealistic, and what's interesting is at the end of the trailer it says that all of this was captured on a PlayStation 5. Now, we don't know for sure if it was a Pro model or the base PS5, but I'm going to be guessing that it's a normal base PS5 just because I would assume that they would have specified in that segment if it was a PS5 Pro. But either way, it looks really cool because most of the stuff we saw was of course rendered in game as usual like Rockstar does. It's not some fancy CGI showcase designed to make the game look absolutely flawless. Instead, this is how the game looks and this is what they're showing to us, and Rockstar has had over 5 years to work with the PlayStation 5 as well as Xbox Series X and S hardware, and they know exactly how far they can push it to extract the maximum level of visual fidelity here. The trailer also showcases some really impressive draw distances with realistic physics and particle effects whenever someone is moving or something blows up. And so you can see this with the subtle hair physics even in situations where two people are just simply talking with each other. Like when Jason meets Lucia outside of the penitentiary, her hair is moving ever so slightly in coordination with her head movements. And when she rolls over the desk to point her MP5 at some desk workers, you can see her hair rolling and responding with her movements. Water physics also look incredible right now in the jet ski segments, and I don't know if GTA 6 is going to have full ray tracing or just partial ray trace effects for shadows and subsurface scattering, but the lighting in the nightclub scene was absolutely brilliant, and all in all, graphics have definitely seen an upgrade since December 2023, which is when we got that first trailer. Now let's talk about locations. We already know Vice City is going to be the main city in the game, and it's going to be much larger than the last time we saw it in 2002, but Rockstar's official GTA 6 page confirms that we'll also get several other locations. Vice City itself will be rendered in extremely high detail, featuring references to real-life locations like Miami-Dade County, Palm Beach, Miami International Airport, and the Miami Metro Rail. But in addition to Vice City, we're also getting Leonida Keys, which is a stand-in for the Florida Keys. And this is going to be an archipelago with underwater diving, yacht parties, and other various activities that make it a tropical paradise for you to explore. And if you pay attention to the last photo in the Leonida Keys exhibit, you can see even a shark lurking underneath the flamingo guy who's floating in the water. Then we have the Grass Rivers, which is a wetland ecosystem with gators, turtles, snakes, Florida men, drug dealers, cougars, and more, and everyone's getting into trouble with the cops here, it seems. Port Gellhorn is a town on Leonida's coastline with cheap motels, strip malls, abandoned docks, and old tourist attractions that have long since been forgotten. Ambrosia is an industrial town with a local biker gang and a really shady sugar refinery that's almost certainly owned by a drug kingpin. Also worth noting here, the car interior that we see in the Ambrosia photo collection is pretty much identical to that of a real-life S550 Mustang GT, so this really indicates to me that Rockstar might put more of a focus on realistic driving physics and first-person driving because their new car interiors are just so detailed. And then finally, there's Mount Calaga, located up in the northern border of Leonida, and this location offers excellent opportunities for hunting, fishing, and off-roading. And yes, it does seem like we'll have an off-roading minigame as well as a hunting minigame, or at least a side quest, because we can see hunters with their rifles and some guys having fun on dirt bikes next to that abandoned mining facility. There's also a kayaking minigame from the looks of it, and the wildlife screenshots that Rockstar have provided look similar to RDR2, which indicate that GTA 6 will develop even further on the highly advanced animal AI system from that game. Red Dead Redemption 2's animals behave in extremely believable and lifelike ways, and no other game has been able to replicate that even in 2025, so hopefully Rockstar will surpass it in GTA 6, and I have high confidence that they will. With locations covered, let's talk about more gameplay features. The trailer clearly has a big focus on realistic portrayal of weapons, with Jason wielding a Beretta as well as an M4, likely reflecting his army experience. And then Lucia is seen wielding an MP5 as well as a grenade launcher. And we also see an ammunition ad, and there are plenty of weapon photos on the official blog, so we'll probably get some awesome new weapon varieties, which is something we really need in a GTA game, both for fighting and hunting, along with plenty of weapon customization options. And there also seems to be evidence to suggest that a new workout system is here, because we can see Jason lifting at the Muscle Beach, and he's clearly jacked up, way more muscle mass compared to the first trailer. And there will also be some kind of facial hair system, because throughout the trailer we see Jason's hairstyle and beard change multiple times, and it's pretty impressive to see the results. We might also get some type of boxing or cage fighting minigame, because Lucia's bio mentions that she was taught how to fight by her father from an early age, and we see her throwing some pretty powerful kicks in what looks to be some sort of boxing gym. We might also get mini golf, diving, fishing, pool, and basketball as new minigames. And before closing things off here, just a final tidbit, there is a Georgia license plate in the trailer, so maybe we'll get a second state in addition to Leonida. I mean, in various screenshots, you can see sort of a mountainous region, nothing massive, but definitely an area of the map with lots of elevation changes and hills. Not sure at this point, but it's something to think about. Could just be an out-of-state driver featured in that shot, but it would be really cool if they added a second state for certain parts of the story. Even if it's not fully explorable as a place in the main game, it could just be part of the storyline in some way for a specific character. Lucia's bio also mentions that her mother's from Liberty City, so maybe we'll get to visit that at some point, but I think that's getting pretty hopeful there. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for this trailer. Let me know if you want a more detailed look at some of the rumors and speculations surrounding the new information release on Rockstar's website, because there is just so much to dive into, discuss, little details to mention and dig into, and we are only just scratching the surface here. So don't forget to drop a like on this video if you guys found it informative and you like what you see. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and you want to see more GTA 6 news content like this. Lots to come here on the channel in the future. Thank you again for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios, amigos.